Traders, welcome back to another Relentless video. So today we're going to be talking about halted stocks, right? I've been getting the question a lot. Hey, RT, how do you approach these stocks that are halted and are going up like crazy, squeezing, right? Short sellers covering, getting denied. How do we capitalize on these moves? How do you approach these setups? So this is what we're going to be talking about today, right? The entries that I look for, signs that I use on the level 2 to get long. We're going to also be talking about trade situations, right? We're going to look at some examples where I won, some examples where I lost, some examples where, we kind of had break-even trades. So, just so you guys can see a little bit of everything, right? Not just one side. So and it's kind of funny because I had one of my biggest red trades in a halt and some of my bigger green trades. So it's, high risk, high reward. But we'll get into it. This will be a shorter video segment though. So we'll do these in episodes, right? Episode 1, of course, is this video. So here we go. Let's jump right into it. All right, guys, before we jump into the video, quick reminder to hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing if you are a new viewer. Check out the chat room, by the way. That'll be the first link down below. It's completely free on iOS, Android, and PC. There's where we continue the conversation even after market hours. Markets are closed. We continue the conversations there. So check out the chat room. But here we go right into the video. So this particular video is going to be from October 22nd, 2021, this year. And so this was one of the hotter days that we've had this year. One of my better green days, but it was the momentum to the upside was just crazy. We had DWAC, a couple of the other stocks, just absolute madness. So when we talk about halts, the very first thing we're going to look at in this video is how volatile, how extreme these resumptions can be. So here we go. PHUN in 5 seconds. We're halted at 1098. Let's look at the level 2 and price action. Big push, 1175. It drops back down. Look at those buyers, right? Notice those bids that are sitting here around 1099. Big buyers. I mean, absolutely huge buyers. 600,000 shares. I mean, look at, if I remove my webcam here, actually, look at my face seeing that there real time. Crazy, right? I'm actually not going to get long right here though, right? This was a pretty volatile one. Here we go. This was a pretty volatile one. I'm actually not going to get long right there. So from 1098, we had a high of 1260, right? So here we go. 1098, we'll let it play. Just look at how volatile, how fast they can go up or down. Boom. High of 1180, 1260. Right? My level 2 sometimes can't even catch the high point, right? As we know, E-Trade's level 2 sometimes will lag slightly behind with the update in terms of the price. But look at how fast that was, right? Just absolute madness when it comes to volatility. 100,000 share buyers, 100,000 share sellers. Crazy. But this one is going to go up some more. Just like that to $14 a share in like a second. Gets halted again at 1406. This one here was crazy, right? Crazy. This ended up going all the way to $24. I didn't even get a chance to really get in there. But you got to take the risk, right? So the halt trades, like I mentioned earlier, are high risk, high reward. And so we're going to look at one that I am going to trade here. That's going to be a break-even trade. And then we're going to look at one. We're going to look at a couple of them, right? We'll continue going through the list. So here's the next one. This is CRTD about 5 minutes later or 3 minutes later after that halt on PHUN. So here we go. All right, a couple minutes later, CRTD. I'm watching this one. I have 700 shares. There's resumption. We're halted at 665, right? We're halted at 665. There's resumption. We're moving up. There's a high of 7. Ideally, what I want to see on these halts is a rip to the upside and then a dip, right? A rip to the upside and then a dip. This is halted at 665. Can we open at 690, hit a high of 740, 750, and then dip down to $6? Dip down to not 6, but 7. Dip down to 690 or so, that would be pretty good. So you can see resumption here was kind of flat. We didn't open up that much higher. We are going to hit a high of 7 though, right? We had a high of 695. And so as it starts to linger here around 67, there's a buyer here, 50,000 shares. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for it down here. I'm going to take the long at 75 and watch for the push right through 7. So right here, I want to see a rip right through 7, 710, 720, 730, 740, and so forth. But it hits 7. We buy up some of those shares that are sitting there, but not quite all of it. So I stopped out flat. I'm like, okay, I'll look to get back in it. So this was basically a break-even trade. This is the move right here I was looking for. Look at that, 15, 29, 38, 47, 50, 52 for the highs. So I got out a little too soon, right? This is what that was. I got out a little too soon. The entry there, we got resumption at 65.70, high of 7. It dips down, it holds 65 or so. I got long 75, and I'm looking to sell through the highs over 7. I'm out a little too soon. So smokes, but no cigar. So we'll move on to the next example. PROG. This one here is moving on up over $3, and I'm going to look to get long for PROG here. And this is going to be a trade where I'm in early and I'll be holding into a halt, right? So it was a hot day. I'm like, hey, everything is going up and going crazy. This day I was up 1,400, right? So I'm going to look to buy PROG right here over this level of 3 or so. Break and hold of the whole dollar. I'm long at 5. It looks good. We're going to push all the way up here, right? Look at these sellers, by the way, right? When the market is hot, man. Look at these sellers. 26,000 shares, 21,000 shares at 10, 13 at 15. We're seeing these bigger sellers, but when the market is hot, we're just going to be ripping right through. There's 14, like a hot knife going through butter. There's a few of them. I know the red color doesn't quite show too well in terms of HD. I'll have to upgrade to 4K, I believe. You know, that's what one of my next steps. But look at the sellers here at 25 even. All right, there we go. It's in green, so it's easier to see. 32,000 shares, 14, 19, 24. Big sellers in a colder market. We're definitely not going anywhere. But in this market, we're just ripping through everything like a hot knife going through butter. And we're now halted at 29. So it's 10:32 at the time. So we'll come back 5 minutes later for resumption. So 10:37. I didn't quite get the timestamp here. So we'll just do the math and go forward. So 23 or so, we should see resumption, assuming that it was a 5-minute halt. And so PROG, right? This is going to be a situation where we saw PHUN where we had a higher resumption. Look at PROG right here on this resumption. So I'm in at 06, 500 shares. We're currently at 28. Resumption at 30. Look at the bid in the ask spread. 98,000 share bid at 28. 83,000 share bid at 25, 30,000 share seller at 30, and the list goes on and on for the big sellers that we're seeing. But it opens flat and it doesn't move up right away. So my first instinct is that, hey, breakout or bailout in a sense. This thing needs to be flying up. If not, I need to be out. So I stop out of the trade. And despite these big buyers that we're seeing at 28 and so, look at the drop. 72. How long did that take? 1, 2, 3, 4. The drop itself took less than 1 second. We hesitated around 28 to 30. The drop itself is going to be about a second. So once again, high risk, high reward trades. When you take losses on halts, you can't really be, you can't be upset. We know what we're getting ourselves into in these particular situations. So that was PROG. I came out flat, took my money off the table, didn't get to see the higher resumption and push through the upside. So even on a hot day, we still want to recognize the indicators to buy and sell and respect them highly. So moving on to video number 2. So video number 2, this was a day that was just filled with halts going back to March 26th of this year. Just absolute madness. Absolute madness, man. So we're watching at WAFFU. Hold on, let's go back, which is currently halted at 15.58. WAFFU is halted at 15.58. I believe I was in the sim back here, if I'm not mistaken, right? Well, what year is this? No, never mind. This is 2021. And I'm confusing for 2020. But anyhow, this is live. This is live trading. WAFFU Going back this year, resumption at 1558. Here we go. Can we get the higher resumption and the dip? That's what I'm looking for. So we've seen so far the very first resumption, which is a high risk resumption of just how volatile it can be. We've seen a break-even trade. We've seen, you know, a trade where the resumption does not resume higher, where I'm actually in the halt holding and I sold. Now let's look at an actual halt setup working out perfectly, right? WAFFU, once again, 1550, 5 seconds to resumption. No fear, no hesitation. There's a resumption. High of 17. 1720. It dips, it dips, it dips, it dips. There's 60, there's 50, right? 67, 50 on the bids, 36 on the bids. But look at how fast that drop was. The stock drops $1 a share in less than 2 seconds. High risk, high reward. So I'm looking for this bottom. Can we start to bottom out? We had a resumption around 1558 or so. We're still significantly higher above that level. Can we start to bottom out at 1637? I see some green. I like it. I'm long. I'm going to get a good fill here at 47. You guys with a direct access routing might have been in at 35, maybe 40. But I'm in at 47, and I'm looking to sell into the highs. Right back. Look at that. Right back. Bouncing right back. I'm in at 1647. The stock is already at 1750 on the ask. $1 a share in less than a second. High risk, high reward. I'm going to sell here around 38 or 39. Smaller share size, 350 shares. I'm out of the trade, and I'm up 443 after all of that. So from being up 184 on earlier moves, and I'm going to add to the profits here. Once again, let's take another look at the trade. 50, I'm right back out, couple seconds, in, out, quick trade. Not bad, not bad. And you know, for people, once you have the setups down, it all comes down to share size after that. I'm using 350 shares. Some of you guys might be thinking, hey, that's a lot of size. I've been using more now, right? For those of you who've been watching on the live streams every day, once again, subscribe to the channel. But there's people using, in these situations, 35 shares, 300 shares, 3,000 shares, 30,000 shares. So imagine getting in with 30,000 shares and making almost $1 a share almost instantly. You know, it's 30 grand. But of course the risk. We just saw this same stock drop down $1 a share, right? So halt number 2, CLEU, same day. We're moving forward a little bit. CLEU is going to resume. This is going to be another winning trade. Not as big though. This one is halted at 656. Can we get the higher resumption, the move to the upside, and then, of course, the dip for the entry? Look at that. Nice resumption at 663, right? Once again, we're halted at 656. We're getting it. It's not that significantly high. It's not that much higher, but, you know, higher still. And we're pushing. We're already seeing 95. This is the beauty of the halts. 20,000 share buyer at 680. There's a break of 720. If you're holding into the halt, for example, if we go back to that trade that I was in on PROG, when we resume higher and we get good volume, this is what it needs to look like. So when we have a stock like PROG resume sideways and is hesitating sideways, it's not good. We want to resume higher and immediately see green, right? Green on the time and sales, green with green arrows going up, buying at or above the ask, and there's 720. Can we dip down and can we hold, let's say, 680? Is that a reasonable dip? I would think so, but let's see where it does dip down and where we can get a hold. It doesn't dip down to 680. It's already holding out at 7. In this case, break and hold of the whole dollar. Bit of a dip trade still, and I'm long right here at 8. So it doesn't dip down. I would have wanted to see the dip to 690, 680 for the entry, but it does not dip down that far. High of 20, selling pressure comes in. This right here, selling on at the bid, at or below the bid. There might have been a hidden buyer at 7, right? Once again, my level 2 updates a little slowly. You can see it's now hitting 7 there, right? If you're at E-Trade Pro, watch out for that. But I like it. We're holding 7 long enough, so I like the entry here at 08. I'm long. Can we see 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, 70? How far is it going to go? 38. I sold a little soon. Can we see some more? There's 50, 59, and we're getting halted 56 or so. 56, we're getting halted. So I sold a little soon at 38, coming out fast. Could have given it a little bit more time, but volume wasn't as strong as I would have wanted to see, but still not bad. So this one here, we're going to make something in at 08 out of 38, but we definitely could have held longer. So this is CLEU, another winning trade. And last but not least, let's take a look. In this particular example that's coming up, I didn't lose money, right? And this is going to actually be a false halt, which we could talk about here. Sometimes we look like we're getting locked in. We see the buying at the bid at the high level, but sometimes there might be some selling pressure that comes along. Maybe someone unwinds some big position or a big position, and then, you know, the share price comes lower. So the price comes lower, we end up breaking the level. So there was a drop, and then we're back at the level again. And once it comes up, are we going to get locked in? Looks like we are locked in right there. Yep. So this one is halted for another 5 minutes. Hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Then we switch over. CLEU. CLEU. Okay, that was okay. I see. So that was WAFFU there. So CLEU gets halted. Now the very last example, and by the way, it's worth mentioning this too. WAFFU on this particular day was the leading stock, right? WAFFU was getting halted up, and now CLEU is halted up, but WAFFU is now halted down for the first time. What does that tell us that might happen to CLEU when it resumes? If the leading gapper suffers a big blow, it trickles down, right? The ripple effect. So let's take a look. In this particular trade, I'm not going to be long, but this is going to show us how brutal halt resumptions can be. We already looked at the very first one today, which was PHUN, and how volatile it was. Big buyers, big sellers, up and down like crazy. Look at CLEU right here. Halted it up at 756. Let's see in 5 seconds what we're going to get. Can we see the higher resumption and the squeeze to the upside, the dip and the entry? 756. Here we go. CLEU. It opens up sideways. Well, we get a bit of a wick. It opens up lower. A bit of a wick to the high and immediately drops off. Immediately. From 756, it's instant. If you're holding into the halt really high, it's a big loss. If you're in with size, it's a big loss. Now, I didn't have my level 2 up. I was still watching at WAFFU right there. But, you know, just to keep in mind, high risk, high reward once again. So when these stocks are halted, we got to know what we're getting ourselves into. We got to be careful. We got to be very accepting of the trade and not get emotionally tied. And we got to mitigate our share size to manage our risk. So right there, we had, what's that, about 6 examples today. In the next episode, we'll be looking at some of the trades where I took some losses, some more of the break-even trades, trades that I'm actually buying and selling coming out red. We'll look at that, and we'll look at some more of the winning trades as well in episode number 2. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode, guys. It's been Relentless Trader. Once again, check out the channel, check out all the videos, check out all the different playlists that's here, right? Check out everything, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hit that thumbs up button, and of course consider checking out the Discord as well, right? If you're a new viewer, subscribe. It's been Relentless Trader. It's been a good video, and I am, of course, signing out.